So I will start. Let's start our session, guys. First of all, we want to learn about color picking. Color picking is important to know in Photoshop. All we knew about color picking is by clicking here on the color swatch here and click any color I want and choose, for example, this color, and then we can use it with the paint bucket tool and put it here, and now we have a color. What if I want to pick a color from an image? How could I make it? So let's here search for like a tree and check this. And let's take this image, for example, and file, open more, open from URL, and click here, Control V and OK. Nothing happened. It's an issue or what, I don't know. So let's download it and add this image. Okay, now I have the image. So what if I want to pick a color from this tree or sky and put it here? The first way is to click on the color here, and once you open the color picker, you can click anywhere on the image and he will pick the color for you, like that. And for a quicker way, you can click on the paint bucket tool and click on a new layer, and once you clicked on the keyboard Alt, click on the Alt key and hold, and then click anywhere. If you notice here, the colors are changing. So while holding Alt, I can pick any color I want. And also there is a specific tool for this, which is the eyedropper here. When I click on it, I can choose whatever color I want. So, but for us, the most that we will use is by clicking on the paint bucket tool or clicking with the brush tool, and then click and hold Alt, and now we can pick any color we want, and here it is changing according to what we select. So that was hi Isa. So that was the eyedropper. So you can try it now. You have 30 seconds to try it. Okay. It was simple. So let's move on. And now we want to take the gradient. The gradient is a gradient between two colors or more. Gradient is used to make a gradient between two colors. So it's used a lot in many designs and many paintings and many features and many posters. So gradient is one of the very important design and graphic elements and tools that we will need to use a lot. So let's learn about gradient in Photopea. So to make a gradient, first of all, let's remove these layers and make this layer black again by clicking D, then X, then clicking here by the paint bucket tool. And now let's try the gradient tool. Remember when we didn't find the gradient, the paint bucket tool at first? We didn't find the paint bucket tool because it was hidden under this tool here, which is called gradient tool. The gradient tool, once we choose it, we have now, we can, once we click, let's make a new layer. Now I choose the gradient tool. Let's try what it do when I click on the layer. Nothing. Okay, so how I should use this gradient tool? First, you have to remember that the gradient tool is making a gradient between two colors or more. So by clicking here, like what we used to do with the paint bucket tool, is doing nothing, and it's very logical because the paint bucket tool actually drops one color and fill the layer with this color. What we want to do is to make a gradient between two colors. So there is a factor we are missing here, is the distance between these two colors. So this means I want to tell him that I want a color here and a color here, and this distance between them, I want you to make it a gradient between these two colors. So so now when I click on it, you can check here that this is a black color and this is a white color, and there is a gradient between them, making it like a gray colors between them. So now we will not be using these two colors here because we are not using a paint bucket tool or a brush. We are using gradients. So what we should do is to click and hold and move our mouse like this. Click and still holding and move our mouse. Once I do this, you will notice that it's there's two squares. The first square is the midpoint of the first color, and the second square is the midpoint of the second color, and the line between them is the distance between these two colors. So now I will have a black color at a box, at a square, and a white color at the other square, and a gradient between them both. So what happens when I remove my hand from the mouse and stop holding the left key button? Okay, so now I have a gradient between white color here and the black color here, like this gradient here. So let's Control Z. Let's click Control Z to undo this action, and let's try it again. Let's make it from up to down. Okay, so let's make it from down to up. Okay, let's try it there, there, there. Okay, cool. What if I made the two colors very near to each other like this? So the distance between them is very small. This will happen. We will have this white area here and this black area here. Why there is no gradient here and there is no gradient here? Because simply I made these colors like that. So actually I have this square here for the black color, and I have this square here for the white color. So the gradient will happen between them, like here. But behind the black color here, there is no other colors. So we will make all of this area in black, and all of this area will make it in white. The gradient only happens in the distance in the line between these two colors. So it's very logical that the gradient here is very small in this area only. So let's try to make the 2 points very far from each other, even bigger than our layer. That means that we will have a gray gradient. Actually, we are not seeing the white, and actually we are not seeing the black, because the black color is here and the white color is here. And even if we move the layer, nothing will happen, because the layer is only painting on this canvas area, as we told in the first session. So let's return back to our gradient, and let's try to make this gradient again. So now this is called a linear gradient. So we can see here it's named linear. So do you think that there is other types of gradient? Yes, we have the linear, and we have other types like radial, angle, reflected, and diamond. Let's check them. Radial, what should radial do? Let's try it. Let's delete this layer and make a new layer. Once clicking and dragging, again we have the two colors and this distance between them. So let's make it like this, and let's click OK. So what happens is making a radial gradient. So what happens is he is not, let's make it like this again. Okay. and click here. Okay, what happens now is that we have our midpoint of the white color here and the midpoint of the black color here. What we used to do is that he will make this area in white and this area in black. But now what happens is that he is now making like a circle around the first color. The radius of this circle is the distance between the first color and the second color. This is the radius. So we will make this circle, and he will make this circle a gradient from its midpoint, which is the first color, until it reaches the black color. Okay, so what if we made this gradient very small like this? Okay, we will have very small circle of gradient, but we will always see the two colors. Okay, let's try to make a very big gradient like that. That black point is actually out of the circle. What happens is we have now a very usual background for many YouTubers, which is a gradient, a gray gradient background like this. Cool. Let's try the other types of gradient. Let's try the angle. It makes like this. When clicking, what happens is that we have the white point here and the black point here, and he will make the first color starts from here, and the black color starts from here, and the gradient will be the angle between them, like that. Let's try the reflected. Okay, the reflected is similar to the linear, but it makes in the both directions. And the diamond, it makes it's similar to the radial, but it makes it in square or diamond shape. So this is the gradient tool. So now we only learned about how to make a gradient with its different shapes, but I can't make my own colors. So how to choose any color? By clicking on this arrow here, we have some more colors. So let's try, for example, this violet to orange. Click here, and let's make it. Okay, now I have gradient between these two colors. Nice. Okay, but I don't want that the violet be from the left and the orange from the right. What if I made it like this? Okay, now it's the opposite. Okay, so I make it like this, like this. Now I can change the direction. What if I use the radial and make it like this? Okay, the violet is in the center. How to make it the difference? We can change our direction. I can't. Okay, it will be always a circle, and the midpoint of the circle, it will be always the violet. So how could I make the violet is the out color and the orange is the mid color? The only way to make this is by clicking here reverse. By clicking reverse here, I'm reversing the colors. So now when I make the colors again, now the purple or the violet color is actually the outer color. So now I have a darker border and a whiter fill light, which is now a cool background that I can use it for many designs actually, or a text or anything. So what if I made another layer here? I delete this. I'll make another layer and change this opacity. Remember, opacity is the transparency of an image, of a layer. Sorry, of a layer. So if we change it to like 30% and make the same gradient that we have done, okay. What happens here is that we have, well, let's make it more like 55 actually, for example. What happens now, it makes the gradient that we want with less opacity. Actually, I don't want to use it like this. I always make it like 100%, and I can change the opacity from here, because making the opacity from here is actually permanent. I can't increase the opacity after making the gradient, but from here I can change it with the as I like. Now for the blend mode, we didn't take it yet, so I will not explain it now. But here we have a question. What we have done learn now is the gradient tool and the its types and how to choose any color. But what if I want to make a gradient with between any two colors I want, like for example blue and green? How I should make it like this is by actually selecting white, blue and green here from the two colors. By selecting any two colors here, for example, let's make it red. So now I have red and green. When click here again, remember this black and white gradient at the first that we saw? Now it's between red and green. And if we make it like blue, now it's blue and green. So the first gradient is actually a gradient between the foreground and the background. So if we click on it and move it like this, now we have a radial gradient between our foreground and our background. So let's try this and continue. You have anyone have a question yet? You have 1 minute to try it. Okay. Let's have an advanced. Let's jump more in the gradient and learn more advanced. So now we know how to make the gradient between two colors that we choose between the foreground and the background. What if I want to make a gradient of more than one color? Like for example, this gradient here. I want to make it linear. Like this gradient here. It's between blue, red, and yellow. I only have a foreground and a background. So how should I make a gradient between more than two colors? The way to do this is actually by clicking on this area here, not the arrow. By clicking here on this area, will open for me a gradient editor. It's similar to the color picker. When we clicked here, we are here clicking a color from many colors to choose, like for our paint bucket tool, for example. But now I have a gradient, so the tool is different here. So the gradient editor here we can use it to make a specific color that we want. So let's make it simple here first. Okay. So let's start with this down area. Let's ignore this area now. We will learn about this area now. So focus in here. Now we have a color blue. Remember the two squares that we was making a gradient between them? That is the first color and that is the second color. So the default that, as we learned, the default is making the first color equals the foreground here, the blue color, and the last color equals the background color here. So what we want to make is choose a custom or changing it the color and it will change it automatically for custom. Once I clicked on the blue color, it changed the type to custom. Now I want to choose any color I want, like for example this color here, and click OK. Now my foreground is still blue, but I have the first color here is yellow. So actually I can change the colors as I want in type custom. So now I want the background not to be the background color, to be custom also. So I click on the color here and I will make it like, for example, okay, let's make it this blue. Okay. Now I have these two colors. So let's click OK and try it. Okay, I hide the layer. Now let's try it. Now I have a gradient between our two colors. Cool. Let's again here. What if I want to add a third color? By moving the mouse near here, this area under our rectangle in this area here. Once clicking at any point, for example, like here, any area, it will make a square for me for a third color like this. If I clicked here, it made a square for me. For example, if we move it like this, and now I can choose a color like, for example, green. Now I have a third color. To move any color, we can click and move it, or we can change it from here on position, clicking and holding and moving, or we can click here and move this position. But we can move it like this. To delete a color, we can click it on it and move it away like this, or I can click on it and click delete. And also there is another way for to delete. We can click here. So now I can make a third color like this. Let's make it like green. We can make a fourth color like here. You can make it this blue. You can make a fifth color like here in red. Let's click OK. Let's make a gradient here. Now we have a gradient between all our colors, and we can make any number of colors that we want. So let's delete all of this. What I want to tell you is, if you notice that when clicking on any square here, we will have these two small squares, these small black squares here. What if I change it? What happens is actually moving the midpoint of the gradient. So it will make the gradient shift left or shift right. So let's delete this to be very clear. Now we have these two squares. So we have two colors only. Since we have two colors only, so this means that we have one midpoint between these two colors. If we're moving, for example, let's make this red. This is, for example, blue. So the midpoint between the red and blue is violet, purple. So the midpoint between violet and red is purple. So this means that if I move this black box here, then the gradient will be very smooth from red to violet in all this area, and from violet to red in only this area. So let's click OK and try it. So this is happens. The first color here. So first color red, it is here. This is the midpoint of red, and this is the midpoint of blue. But but the midpoint between the two colors will be here. So blue will change to this midpoint after all this time, or this distance. But red will change to the midpoint of the two colors, which is violet, after this distance only. So now I can change it like this. Sorry, delete. Click on the black box and move it like here. And make it again. Now I shifted the midpoint here. This is the red point, this is the blue point, and this is the midpoint. So this is the gradient. Let's learn the last thing I want to tell in the gradient. We have another boxes above there. We learned about the down boxes here and this area, and it was easy, inshallah. So we learned about this area. So what we want to learn now is about this area here. Okay, so actually this area is just very similar to this area. It has, here we have a position tab, and here we have a position tab. Here we have a delete button, and here we have a delete button. Here we have and the only change here we have only also some boxes, and also we have here some boxes. The only difference is that we have here a color and here an opacity. So this is the only difference between down here and up here. So the only difference between this area here and this area here is only that the area here have a color and this area here have an opacity. So don't panic, it's very easy, inshallah. So what happens here is that we have a boxes. The first box, when we click on it, it says 100%. And let's click on the other box here. It says 100%. So actually, the upper boxes, it's not indicating a gradient between colors. It's indicating a gradient between an opacity. So to make it clear, let's make the colors R1. Let's delete this box. I can delete it by clicking delete or clicking a delete key on the keyboard. So now there is no gradient because we have one color. So let's make this gradient here. So now I have a gradient between red only. So I don't have another color. So it will be like I am feeling like I am using a bit bucket tool. So let's make a gradient between the opacity, like clicking here and make the opacity like 0. Once you notice that when I click on opacity and move it and make it lower, once we make it like 0%, the opacity here is 0 and the opacity here is 100%. So we actually making a gradient between our red color and red color, but also making like a gradient between a 0 opacity and a 100 opacity. So let's click OK and delete this layer and make another and make it like this. So now I have, so actually a question. Why he made here the red at the left side while we have here the red at the right side? Because I clicked on reverse. So let's click on reverse again and click Control Z and try again. Now the red is on the right side as this here. So now what you see is a gradient between a white and red? No. The white area here is actually the color of the background layer. If we hide this layer, now we have a red color and a transparent layer. So actually we have now made a gradient between the red color and the transparent area. So what happens if I made someone another gradient like this, bigger? What happens actually? It will not affect. It will replace our work. Will not make a new layer. So very important thing to learn that when we had a new layer and we was painting on it like this, when we paint again on it, it will not erase the last thing we made. But when I paint in another color, it will not erase, but it's replacing our color. So we think that we made like a very refresh to the layer, but we are not making a refresh to the layer. We only replacing or painting above our color. So if I have the gradient and want to make it above our color here, like this, for example, if I use the gradient again on this layer, it will not refresh the layer and make it from the start again. It actually will continue adding gradients on the same layer. So actually it's now not what we want. We don't want to make gradients above each other like that. So this is a very important thing to notice and to be careful on when using a gradient with transparent gradient. So let's try it again like this. Now we have a gradient between red color and also a red color. Like this is a red color midpoint and this is a red color midpoint. But the new thing that we made is making this is a midpoint of 100% opacity and this is a midpoint of 0% opacity. So now actually we are making a gradient between two red colors but between 0 opacity which is transparent, and 100% opacity. So this is the midpoint between the two squares, which is 50% opacity. So let's try now making a third. Can we make a third box like we made in the color here? Yes. By clicking here, now we added a third box, and you notice that we have also this midpoint between the two boxes as we had in the color. So let's make this box here 100%. So it's actually 100. And let's make this box here a 0%. So it's actually a 0%. So let's make this box here 0% like this. We have now a gradient between color, the same color, but between 0 opacity and 100 opacity, and then again 0 opacity. So that was like everything about gradient. We have here a type normal or noise. You can try it. It actually will make the gradient noisy. Smooth, actually, it's also about the smoothness. So you can try it. But this was a very important thing about gradients. So now you have 4 minutes to try it. Or actually 2 minutes because there's a practice on it. Okay, you have 2 minutes to try it. If you have any question, tell me. Okay, so any questions? If everything is okay till now, please type 1. Okay, so try to do this. This is a practice. Everyone try to make this. This is a gradient between this blue color and white color and this blue color. This is a white color, not transparency. So everyone try to make this gradient here. And you have another this gradient, how I made this gradient, and please guys join our WhatsApp group. To make this gradient, let's make a new layer. What happened here is, let's first of all make it simple by clicking here. What happened here is a simple linear gradient. It was a linear gradient. So this is the first thing we have to notice. Then the second thing is this a gradient between 3 colors. I know there is only 2 colors, but since we have a color in the middle, so now I have to make him understand that I want to make a gradient between a blue color here and a blue color here and the white color here, and I want him to make a 2 gradients between the white and the blue and between the blue and the white. So now it's actually 3 colors, so we have to understand it like this. So now let's first of all check this here and make it like this blue, and click here and make it like this blue. And if you notice that I didn't click on this color as we used to do, and suddenly the color picker appeared because I clicked on this box, double click. So the double click will also make this color picker show. So I want now, I have now 2 different blues, right? What I want is a very similar and the same color. So remember when we knew that every color has a code, clicking on this color will show here this code. Let's copy this code, and this code is generic. So if I search it for this code here and click hashtag before it, type the hashtag before it, now we have this color here. So this is a generic code. So let's take this code here and add it here. So now we have a gradient between 2 identical colors. So what we want to do is now making a third white color. So let's click here to make a box. Okay, let's move it. Try to make it in the center. So I can make it like, I try to make it in the center, or I can type here 50. And now it's very in the center. Now let's click it here and make it like this white here, and click OK, and click OK. Now we have this gradient. Let's try it like this. So if so now we made our gradient color that we want. So also to know if you want to make a straight line between the two colors, you can click shift and move your mouse. It will make it in straight line and in 45 degrees movement. Okay, now we made this gradient. So if everything is okay, please type 1. Okay, so let's try the second example here. Everyone try to make this image here. Here is our image. You can download it and put it in Photopea and try to make this image in a square box like here, 1000 pixel in 1000 pixel height and width. And I want to make this gradient color. This actually a hint. I am telling you that this black area and this vignette effect is a gradient color. I am telling you a hint. So this was a help. So try to, in real life, no one will tell you this is a gradient. You will try to make this image to this image. So now, because this is harder, I will give you 2 minutes. I will tell you how I made it. First of all, I want to download my image. So let's click it here. Now, okay, to download an image, first of all, I can click a copy image and put it here, but I want to download it. Let's download it here. So now I have our image here. So the second thing I want to do is to create our project, because actually I said to you that I want it to be 1000 pixel width and 1000 pixel height. So let's click File, New, and make it like this, 1000. And here in the height 1000, and click Create. Now I want to add our image in our project. How to do it? We knew from the first session that we click on the image and click and move it and drag it here, and let's do it here. Now I have my image here, but it's shrink it. So the better is to make it, to drag it in another project here, or we can click here and File, open more, open from URL, and Control V and clicking OK. And now we have our image in a separate here, so we can move it and put it here. So what I made is clicking on the image and move it and jumping on our new project and clicking. Let's close this project. Now I have an image above our background layer. So let's try to centerize it like here. When I make it immediate on the center, it will make for me a red color like this. Okay, now I have my image and the background layer, and it's also in 1000 pixel and 1000 pixels. So actually I made the half the way. Now what I want to make is this gradient color. So the first of all, I want to sync it like this. Now I have a gradient between what color and what color. It's between a black color. Here I can see that it's moving from a darker color, which it's like a black color, and in the middle I don't see any color. So, but I don't see a gradient here moving from black to any another color. So we'll assume that it's only black like this. So it's a black color here and a black color here. But what happened is this black color I can see it because I actually seeing the image I have. So I am actually seeing the layer under it. So this means that I want to make this black color here 0% opacity, and the black color here, like here actually, like a 40%, 100% color. So I want a gradient between a black with 0% opacity and a black with 100% opacity. So let's try it. Let's click here on gradient, and let's make it simple first, and let's click here. Now I want this color to be black and this color to be black. Cool. Now we made the color part. Let's make the opacity part. I want this color here to be 0%. Okay, and this color here I want it to be 100%. Let's click OK. Let's make a new layer, because if we don't want to damage our layer. Remember, we want to do everything in a separate layer. So let's make a new layer and click and move. So we now want a gradient between this color here, this black color with 100 opacity, and this is the black color with 0% opacity, because this is the left here and this is the right here. Let's check what happens. What happens actually that I have our black color with 0% and the black color with 100%. But the black color with 100% is only in this area, not in this area. Why? Because this is a linear gradient, as we know. So if I made it like this, we have a black color here and a transparent area in here, as we knew, as we learned. So now I wanted to make it like a radial gradient. So let's click on the new layer and let's try this and make it like this. So actually now it's finished. If it is the black color is in the middle, you can click reverse and make it again, and it will reverse the colors as we knew. So now I have the gradient image that I have, which is a cool background I have now. So everything is clear now?
It seems like it would take a lot of practice, right? It's not something that you would kind of know how to do.
Of course, it will have to be studied. It actually, you have to understand this. If you don't understand it, you can ask me. But this you have to practice, because I practicing Photoshop like from 10 years. So it's actually very easy to me to think, okay, this image is a gradient and a black color, and I have to do this and this and this, because actually it's very easy for me now in thinking and know what should I do. But I remember when I learned the gradient, it was at 2011. I was 13 years old, and when we had this session and we learned about gradient, I remember wanted the next session I wanted to make a flag with 3 colors, and it is very easy gradient between 3 colors, but I didn't know how to make it, and I asked the instructor and she taught me, and I was surprised. So I know how it is hard to think about how to make a gradient at first, but by practicing it will be easier, inshallah. But at least you have to be fully understand, and if you have any question, ask me. Okay, so let's move on. Now we learned everything about gradient except the blend mode, because we didn't took it yet, because blend mode we saw it in a lot of tools, so we will take it in another session. So what is this property? I actually wasn't remembering it, so when I Googled it and found it, okay, I knew it, that this is making the gradient smoother or not. But what I wanted to show you that I forgot what this is making. So it is very easy when you forget anything to search about it. So click gradient, and desert property, and it's not a problem to click a Photoshop or any software, because they are all the same. And open any video or even open an image, and it will explain to you a lot about the desert effect. So let's click here. So actually here you can see it that he says to you that this will have these sharp small lines that you will see. So it's very simple thing, but we will not use it. But I wanted you to know that everything you don't know or forget, it's easy to search for it. So let's now we learned about gradient. It's very important tool. So let's move on. Now we want to learn about the property panel. But first of all, what this property panel is used for changing properties of the layer. So of any layer. So what I meant by any layer, doesn't we have only have this layer, normal layer? Doesn't all layers are the same? So why I want a property panel, a box for the properties of each type of layer? Do we have a type of layers? Yes, we do. In Photoshop and Photopea and GIMP and any other alternative software, it all will have the same types of layers, which we didn't take all of them yet, but which are the raster layer. First type of layers is the raster layer, which is very we used to it, which is an image or any empty layer we paint on it, or any normal layer. This is the raster layer. Remember when we clicking when in any image like this image, if I wanted to paint on it, he says smart object must be rasterized. Must be rasterized. It means that this layer type it is a smart object. You have to make it a raster layer to work on it. Rasterized means to make it a raster layer, like a very normal layer. So we was clicking right click and clicking rasterize. Now I can paint on it. What is a vector smart object and vector and raster? I will explain it later, but I want to tell you the first type of layer we took was the raster layer, which is a very normal layer. The second type of layer is the adjustment layer. We didn't take it yet, but Isa was asking about it in the last session, about how changing colors. We will take adjustment layers in the next sessions, inshallah. And we have the fill layer. Remember when we was using paint bucket tool, but by clicking here layer, new fill layer, and clicking color fill and clicking green, now I have a layer of a green color. I can't paint on it. I can't do anything on it. It's only a color. Once clicking on it again, double click, I can change the color. So it's only a fill color. So this is a type of a layer. So we have now learned about also fill layers. And also there is a type layer, which we used to make a text, and we didn't take it yet. And also there is a smart object layer, which we faced a lot when importing images, and we didn't take it yet. And this is the icon. When you see this square and at any layer, this means it's a smart object. And this is the icon of the smart object in Photoshop, and this in the Photopea. And there is also a vector layer. The vector is the opposite, or the other main type of images other than raster. We will take vector in the next sessions, inshallah. And this is the shape of a vector layer in Photoshop, and this is the shape of a vector layer in Photopea. So what I want to tell you is that there is many types of layers, and the previous layers was all the types of layers in all the softwares that we will face. So the property layer, actually, it's very important because it will allow us to change the properties of any layer. Because a layer such as the grid, the adjustment layer, we will see that it has a lot of properties to change. So let's try the property panel with the normal raster layer and with a fill layer. So let's make here a new layer. And let's make a simple painting like this. So now I have a very normal layer. So let's click on window and click on properties to open this properties panel. So all the properties that I have on a raster, normal layer is only the size and the position. So if I change it the width, I am actually scaling it and make it bigger or smaller. And keep aspect ratio means to make it bigger with the ratio between the width and height. And X, it moves our layer, and Y moves our layer like this. So actually, this only the properties of any layer. We will not use it at all. So let's try making a new fill layer, but at this time we don't want to make it a color fill. Let's make it a gradient fill. So it now made for us our gradient layer. Once clicking on layer again, a normal layer, these properties will change. Let's click on the gradient layer, these properties will change. Let's click on the color layer. Only we have on the color fill layer the color we want to change. On the gradient fill layer, we can change the scale and the offset of the X and the Y, and we can change color, can change radial like this. We can make it opacity here, like for example, let's change it position here and let another color, make it like this and this. So we can make gradient from here, but I don't like to make it from here. So that was the property layer I wanted to show you, but we will. It was like a very small tips about the property layer, because we will face it in the next sessions, inshallah. So any questions still now? Okay. So now let's jump to the brush tool. Thank you. For the brush tool, we learned about it that I can click on it and paint with it. But actually, this is not that means that we took the brush tool. We didn't take it by this. We have to learn more about it. So the brush tool, we have to jump deep on it. So first of all, let's close this property layer. Let's click on brush tool. The brush tool, to get it, we have to click on the brush tool here, like this, and we can paint as we like. So what if I want to make my brush bigger? I can click on the square brackets on the keyboard. Here, these two keys on the keyboard, by clicking on the left button, on the left key, it will make our brush smaller, and clicking on the other key or hold, it will make our brush bigger. Or we can right click. By clicking right click on the brush, you will open this panel for me. I can change the size like this, and I can change the hardness. So let's try this brush with 100% hardness like this. Let's try this brush with smaller hardness, but without changing the size. It will be like this. Let's make a size bigger like this. So this is the hardness of any brush. So let's remove this. Now we knew about the brush, which I can make it like this by click and hold, and I can change size and change hardness. Let's try to draw something like this. You have 30 seconds. Okay. So now let's try to change our brush. When I clicked right click, if you notice that I have many shapes here, these shapes means another brushes. So let's click on this and try. So now this brush is different. I think this is a letter in Hebrew, but let's click here. And this brush, let's try this brush. Okay, it's very cool. So we can change our brushes by clicking right click and choose any brush from here, like this. Okay. Let's try now a normal brush. Okay. Now we can make a brush as we want, but I want to make a straight line. To make a straight line with a brush, you can click and click shift and move. This means that you will make a straight line. But what if I want to make a straight line, but in any direction I want? Because shift will make it only in horizontal or vertical. It's by clicking and moving our mouse, then click shift and click again. And now move our mouse and click shift and click on the mouse, and move our mouse and click shift and click on the mouse. Here we can make any shape in straight lines as we want. So you have another 30 seconds to try to make this shape. Okay, so this is the paint brush. So also we have here, you can change the brush from here. You can click on this, but I will not use it. I click right click, it's easier for me. You can change the opacity of the painting from here. Now we can change the opacity by removing the mouse and clicking again. You are making another layer of 38% opacity until you have a layer with 100% opacity. So this is the opacity. Let's try the flow. Actually, flow means that, let's make it like this. Okay, let's make it. Okay, the flow is actually, I am painting with 3%, but if I made, I'm still holding it, but if I made my brush move again on the same area that I colored on it, it will make it darker and darker and darker. I don't have to remove my mouse and click again to make it darker. So it's very similar to the normal brush that we used on papers. But the opacity is not like that. Opacity, if I made it like this and clicked, even if I moved on the painting again 100%, it will not change the opacity until I remove my hand from the mouse and click again. Now it will make another layer. So that is the difference between the opacity and the flow. So this was the brush. Let's try the eraser. The eraser is very easy. We can make a brush like here. I want to erase it is by clicking on the eraser tool here or clicking on the keyboard Shift E. I can see that the shortcut is visible for me here. When I hovered on the eraser tool, I noticed that there is E button here, which means that the shortcut of the eraser tool is E. So when I click on the eraser tool, I also have this shape like the brush. I can erase. And let's try to select this layer of the brush. We notice that it's erased from the layer. So the eraser also, I can choose a different shapes of the eraser tool. So I can click on this and I can erase like this from our paint. Now it's in art now. So the eraser tool, I can erase with different shapes and with also different hardness and so on. So let's try now to make it smaller. So this was the eraser tool. So that's the difference between opacity and flow. Okay, I want to tell you that when I was preparing for this session, I also forgot what is the difference between the opacity and flow, and I searched it for it. So when you forget anything, you can search for it. So now, digital painting. What is digital painting? Is the difference? What is the difference between traditional and digital painting? The traditional painting was on a paper and using a pencil. Digital painting is on a software. The difference between digital and traditional painting is very clear and making a cool style on any painting that we will do. So traditional painting versus digital art as traditional painting, you can search on it and you'll find many videos about it. And also you will find this video I watched today for fun, and it's nice. I didn't finish it actually. I saw only the first around a minute, but it's cool. So digital painting if you are an expert in painting and digital painting, who can make images like this, is actually an expert, very, very, very expert. But digital painting is very nice and very cool and very fun. If you love drawing, you will love very much drawing on computer. It's actually very fun. So digital painting, you can do it by painting on Photopea like this by the touchpad, or you can make it with the mouse here like this. You can paint with the mouse like I was doing now, but it actually will be shaky and will be not very cool. To use digital painting very cool, you have to use the pen here. Like, for example, let's try to make this. Let's try to write my name with the mouse here. I'm using the mouse. So it's not the best. Let's try it with the pen here. My handwriting is not that good, but it's cool. And it's fast. Now I tried with the pen and the graphic tablet. So it's not shaky as the mouse, and it's easy. And I'm not singing a lot while I'm making it, but the mouse, I am thinking a lot about my movements. So if you want to make a digital painting and you are good at drawing, consider buying a graphic tablet. It's actually will be very beneficial. So digital painting is much better with graphic tablets, not mouses. So graphic tablets have very many types. Like this type that I have, it's a pad with a pen, but your screen is your screen. So you are drawing actually on something that you are not looking at, but you are looking at the screen. This is normal graphic tablet. There is also graphic tablets that are connected to the screen, and it shares the screen on the tablet. So actually you are seeing the screen on the tablet. So actually you are drawing and seeing what you are drawing on at the same time. So you don't have to look at the screen because your tablet has a screen, but this is much more expensive. And you also can draw on your iPad or tablet or your any tablet you have, like an iPad, if it is able to draw on it with a pen. So graphic tablets is not only cool for this feature that you can draw it easily and so on, but also because drawing with a mouse, you are missing a very important feature. If you notice, you are missing that with pen, you can with pen and a pencil and a paper, you can draw as you want. By if you make a very hard pressure with the pencil on the paper, you are actually putting more color on the paper. If you are using a pen, you are putting more ink on the paper. If you make the pen with a very more angle, you are making a different color. If you want to make a very slight pressure on the paper, you're actually making a color with a lower opacity, not very black. It's dark. It's like a light gray. So actually, these features are not accessible with the mouse. Like here, I can't make something like this. I didn't to change the pressure on the mouse. But if I tried now with the pen and the tablet, first of all, I have to check here. Here he says to me, pressures controls opacity. By my pressure controls my opacity. Let's try first without it. Now, I have a very normal I have very normal now a straight line. So when I click on this pressure with opacity, now when I now slight pressure, let's hold it stronger, 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 slight pressure, slight pressure, slight pressure, slight pressure. Now I am pressuring very slightly, it's disappeared. So actually it's very cool for this. Let's try pressure control size. So now pressure will control the size. Let's click here. Let's slide pressure, slide pressure, slide pressure. Stronger, 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 stronger. Slide, 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 slide. So actually, I didn't change the size of the brush, but my moving on the pen on the board like this, like this. It's very easy for me to change pressure and opacity only by as I am moving an ordinary pencil or a pen on a paper. So graphic tablets are very important. I tried it in front of you. So consider buying a graphic tablet if you want to get more in digital painting. So have a break for 5 minutes and we will return back, inshallah. Okay, the break time has ended. So let's move on. Okay, let's now move forward in the brush. To the first thing, the very important thing to be very familiar with it before going deeper in the brush is moving the canvas. Moving the canvas on computer is very easy. All you have to know is how to zoom and how to move and how to rotate. So let's start with moving. We learned about moving. You can make it from this tool by clicking here, and to move zoom out you can click and hold alt key and click like this. You can make it by I make it better with control plus or control minus, control plus, control minus, control plus, control minus. So zooming in and zooming out is very easy, and you have to be used on it. Control and plus, and control and minus. Or if you are a Mac, you can click command and plus or command and minus. To move the canvas, you can use this button here, tool here, which is the hand tool, and move it like this. Or the shortcut for it, not this shortcut. This shortcut will make, if I am now choosing this move tool, and if I clicked on H, now I have the hand tool and I can move it. To return back to the move tool, to the brush tool, for example, I have to click on the brush tool or click on the shortcut. So I don't like this way. I like to move the canvas like this by pressing and holding space. While pressing and holding the space key, I can move the canvas that I want. Once I move my hand from the space, now I return it back to the brush tool. So that I love the space. I use it a lot. So now we know how to zoom and move by clicking space, and zoom out by clicking control negative, control minus, and control minus again, and click and hold space and move. Okay. If you have a digital paint tablet and you want to paint and you want to rotate the canvas, it's easy for you by clicking here and clicking on this rotate view, or the shortcut is R. You can click and move. If you notice that this line here indicates the upper part of the image, the north of the canvas. So you can able to find it and know that this image canvas now is very flipped. So now it's flipped. Now you can move it here, you can move it like this, click this, click this. If you want to make it exactly that how it was, click shift and hold and move it. Now it will move 45 degrees and you make it like this. I'm not using this a lot. What I use a lot is control plus, control minus, and space. Hold and move. Okay, that was the tools. And also you have always to remember how to undo and redo any step by clicking Control Z to undo and Control Shift Z to redo. So try them. You have 10 seconds, or let's make it 20. Okay. So now let's jump to the pencil tool. The pencil tool actually is very similar to the brush tool. Is by clicking and holding on the brush tool, you can reach the pencil tool from here and draw, and also it has most of the features of the brush. Pencil is used much in sketches, but most of the time I use brush tool. Okay, so now let's try to download a brush. All we knew now is that I have a brush, and by clicking right click, I can choose any brush I want, like this for example. Okay, this brush is doing nothing. Okay, what if I want to download another brush, a premium brush, a cool brush? How could I make something like this? Is by the website that is perfect for something like this that I learned about when I was in your age. It was very cool website. It's called practicee, practicee.com. When typing practicee on Google, you will find it on the first website. You can click on here. Okay, you have a lot of brush. All of these are brushes. Let's try a unique one and cool one. Let's okay. Let's search for example. I don't know what to search for. Let's browse by category. Let's have any brush. Okay. Let's use this one, or let's use this cracks. This is a cool brush, I think. Okay, so when I choose any brush on Practicee, what you want to do is click free download and wait. Now the download is started. Now it started. Okay, cool. Click, open the folder now. Okay, this is the downloads. This is free crack Photoshop brush. This is the brush that we downloaded. Let's click right click and click extract to, and now we have extracted our folder. Let's open it. So this is our brush. The brush is extension is always .abr here. This is the extension. Okay, so to import this in Photopea, all we have to do is opening Photopea and click on Edit, then Preset Manager. Click on Preset Manager, and now you have the brush. All you have to do is load.abr. Remember the extension? Click on Load ABR and click on the downloads. Now this is the free crack Photoshop brush. And let's click on the free crack Photoshop and click open. Yes, click OK. Brush edit. He told us that the brush edit. So let's click on our brush and let's click right click. Now the brushes, the new brushes must be added. Okay, here is all the new brushes that we have just added from this 2500 to these all the brushes that have this 2500. Let's try this one. Once I clicked on it, it's very big and it's very cool. Let's try it now. Okay, let's get the move tool. So actually I made this using a brush, not an image. So let's click here again and let's choose another one. For example, this one.
What's the website for that called?
Brush Easy. I will send it to you now. I send it in the chat. So now, okay, when I using the brush, he tells me select a layer. Oh, I forgot to select a layer. So now I have this brush here, and I made this effect. And of course, I can change the color as I want. Let's make like this, change the color for like a black, and make like this. And we can move it. It's a brush, remember? So actually, it's very cool website. So the second thing that we want to know is, what if I don't want to download a brush, I want to make a custom brush. Now I know how to download a brush. I want now to make my own brush, like this, for example. Here he made a brush from a leaf, from a sponge, from different things. So how can I make a brush on my own? So the first thing you have to do is to make any shape. The shape should be in it better should be in black and white, so you can navigate, differentiate between them. But let's do the brush. Let's, for example, make a shape, like for example this shape. Let's make it like this. I want this shape to be a brush. Let's try it. Okay, what should I do? Is actually by clicking edit and define new. Last time we clicked on preset manager. Now we will click on define new and click on brush. Once clicked here, that means that we defined a new brush, and the new brush is our document area. So when we click on brush, so now we can see that he automatically moved me and selected, moved me to the brush tool, and automatically selected the brush tool, this is a new brush for me. So if I hide this and click the new layer, so now I have it as a brush. So what I have done, what he is actually doing, he actually making, let's make another brush like this. Okay, for example, let's assume this is a new brush of a burger, for example, like this. This new brush, let's call it burger. Okay, so what happens is that I am telling him this layer I want to make it into a brush. So we are clicking edit and define new and define new brush. Let's hide this and click new layer and select the brush tool and right click here and move down. Now I have the burger brush and the last brush I made like this. Now let's make it smaller, and we have now some brush, and I can change the color for it like this. So now I made a custom brush. Cool, right? So what he actually doing is doing a brush from a layer. So now let's practice this. Try to make this brush, Salah brush, and make it in 3 colors like this. We are at the end of the session, don't worry. This link, I sent it to you now. This is a normal image. I want from this image to make this brush, Salah brush. So you can be easily to make this Salah face very big and or very small, to print it or to make it as you want. It's now a brush, not a photo that if you scale it, it will be damaged. Now it's a brush that you will you could use it as you want, and also in all colors. So you have to 2 minutes. Let's make it 2 minutes and try to make it. It's actually hard, I know. It's very hard. But I wanted to show you a very hard example so I can show you how to make it after you try. So you know that everything is possible, inshallah. But I know that this is a very challenging example. Try to make it. 45 seconds remaining. Okay, so anyone have an idea how to make it? Even if you didn't do it, if you have an idea, you can tell me. Okay, I will show you. First thing, you have to download this image, right? Or you can click on it and click File, Open More, Open from URL, and Control V to paste it. And I want this image in a new project and click OK. Now I have Salah.
And can you start from the beginning slowly how you posted the image?
Okay. To put the image, I copied the URL, and by clicking Control C to copy and click here in Photopea file, open more. I can download it and drag it. I can download this image and drag it, but the easiest way is to click File, Open More, Open from URL, and then Control V to paste. Or I can erase it. Click Control A and erase by backspace and click Control V. Now I choose new project. I want this image new project. If I choose the current project, it will be put it here in a new layer. But I want this image in a new project. So I click new project and I click OK. And you will find this in the first session on the drive link in very detailed way. So now I have Salah image. So I want to make it a brush. But the first thing I want to notice that to make a new brush, he actually getting a layer. So if I now clicked Edit, Define New, and clicked on Brush, what happens is, okay, cool. It's actually make it in very perfect. I didn't know that it's very smart now. Usually it will make for me a black square. But now it's very smart enough to know the features. So he actually getting the darker pixels and making a brush from it. So now I have, I can make Salah in many colors. But that was not that I made, and that is not what I made. The task was to make a brush like this, not a channel, a color channel of the image. So what I want to do is now is selecting Salah face. To make it, I will choose the quick selection tool and I will choose from the neck. I will click Alt and deselect and then click here and select. Click deselect, deselect here. Okay. I'm clicking and then holding Alt and clicking to deselect. Okay. Now I selected Salah face and his neck. But I have a problem that I didn't select his hair well. So I will click select and click refine edge. This is a revision on the last session. You can check it on the drive. Now I will paint on Salah hair like this. This also we took in the last session. Now I cut it the Salah hair, very cool. Let's click OK. And now what I want to do is removing his face. I only want his hair and his eyes. So I will use the magic wand tool. And if I clicked on contiguous here, it will only select this neck or this face. I want him to select the same color from all the image. So I will remove the contiguous and I will click here and I will click shift and add this color also and this color also and this, no, Control Z and this color also. Oh, no, Control Z. I think that is cool enough. And let's click on the keyboard, delete. And let's click Control D or select and deselect. Now I have Salah like this. So now let's Control Z. Let's get the move tool and click on transform control and move it here and make it bigger. And to move the transform options in the middle, I press and hold Alt. Okay, now I have Salah image. Now I can click edit and click define new and define new brush. Let's go here and click on the brush. Now let's check our new brush. This is our new brush. Here is the new brush that we made. Let's make it now. Okay, now we have Salah in red like this. But I selected this area wrong. I selected the hair wrong here. But it's cool. Let's make it now in green. Let's move it like this. So it's actually, I can use it as a normal brush. I can use it with the pressures of the graphic tablet as I want. So what if I want to save a brush? Because actually, if I closed Photopea and open it in another time, it will not save the brush because it's a browser based. Or you can make an account. To make an account, I don't know if it will save or not. Let's check. I don't think it will save the brush. But if it was Photoshop, it will save the brush for you permanently. But what I want is to save this brush to use it later. So how to make it? Actually, it's very simple. We have the layers that we made the brush from. So what we will make is downloading this layer only. So to download this layer only, we'll click on the move tool and click on this PNG. If we open it, now we have only the area that we want to make the brush from. This area only. It's very scary now. Okay. So now, if I closed Photopea and let's open it again. And let's create new project. And let's click on brush and right click. Okay, now my brush of Salah is missing, so I'm now will not panic because I actually have the image here. So what I will do is going to my downloads. Here is my Salah's image selection that I made. I will go to Photopea and drag and put it as a new project here. Okay, let's click edit, define new brush. Now I have Salah brush again. So this is how to make a new brush. Okay. Before finishing the session, I want to show you some use cases for the brush. Brush is not used only for digital painting. It could be used for a design like this. This design is fully of brushes. Even this text, it might be not a text, it might be a handwriting. You can make a background like this using brushes. You can also make an image like this using a brush. How it is made? It's very simple. What I made is what he actually made is actually making a shape like this, and then he got an image like this. And what he made is actually, let's make a new layer. Let's hide this. Let's make the brush like this. Let's control and click the image, or right click and select pixels. Now I selected the pixels of the brush, and let's move now to our layer and right click and make it a raster image. Now let's click select inverse and click delete. Now I have a selection of our brush on our image. So you can make shapes like this by brush, and also shapes like this, and also we can use it for digital painting like this. Last thing before closing the session, I know that the time has finished, but we started later today because the first only 2 or 3 people came. So the last thing we will know today is the brush panel. we will not get deep in it. Only I want to tell you that there is a brush panel which is used for some features in the brush. So for example, we can make a new layer, and let's choose Salah. And the brush panel, we can click on window and click on brush here. Now I have this brush panel. It only have some properties. Some properties like what? The size here, like this, or the angle, or the roundness, or the spacing. Let's make it again 50%. Okay, the spacing means that if I clicked on new layer and clicked and hold and move, it will be spaced. If I make it like this, it will be like this. And some tools you can figure it on your own and try to know about it more, like size jitter, which means that it will make some changes like this. And if we move the angle and we made some spacing, it will be like this. Some jitter between the brush. It will be not the shape. It will not be the same shape. And there is also scatter and count. So I can make it like this. And also they're changing in some colors, and you can figure it more. And you can also change the opacity of the jitter and the flow of the jitter and everything. Let's make it like this and this and this. Now I can make a background from Salah image, from the Salah brush. So this brush window is a panel. This brush panel is used for some changes and usage for the brush. And that's it. That was our session. If you want to learn more about the brush panel, you can search about it, or you can ask me on our WhatsApp group. So any questions? We have finished today. Thanks. Okay, if anyone has any question, you can send on the WhatsApp group, and you can find on our Google Drive. The video will be updated on it. Okay, when you have a question, you can ask on the WhatsApp group, so we all get a benefit from your question. And I might make a small picture and send it to you to make it as an assignment. If I made it, I will send you. If not, it's okay. So thanks. If you have any question, you can send me on WhatsApp, and see you next week. Inshallah. Thank you.